Hi guys, in this video we're finally going to cut the chair parts. I already have them in my garage and I will show you the video how I did it. But first I want to show you some changes that I made, just small changes. So I changed the dowel position to be just not diagonal but along the wood, so it's much simpler and there's more space here. I didn't like the distance here, and I just realized that I forgot to tell in the last video that here we will use either the elastic webbing, so it's like a rubber belt specific for upholstery that is stapled to the wood, or I will use a zigzag spring, which is also available in the upholstery store. Locally, I already visited the store and I checked that they have. So one of these methods will be used to cover this part, and this way the person who is sitting won't touch any hard surfaces, and the pillow itself can be not as thick as if there was a hard surface here. So this allows me to save on foam and to make the pillow thinner while still keeping it comfortable. And we don't need those rubber or springs here because the weight that goes on the backrest is not that strong. Okay, so now once we have all the wood parts designed, the next step is to lay it flat so we can put it in the machine, and this is done in the manufacturing tab. In the manufacturing tab, we first need to create a manufacturing model. Here in setup, create a manufacturing model, and in that model we can move the items, we can change the design, and without affecting the actual model. So this is like a copy, but if I change the design of the source model, this will also update. So I already created the two panels sketch that I have. This is 2 meters by 600 millimeters, and I already marked a safe area 1 inch from the side, 25 mm, and I arranged all these parts. I will put some time lapse here how I did it very quickly. And then one other thing is I added the tester. These are just so I can get familiar with the machine that I will use to cut this. And the next step is to create the paths. So once I'm happy with the layout, I'm finishing this model, and then I'm going back to the manufacture tab, and here all I did is just part by part I defined a pocket operation which looks like this. The end mill will go spiral down in the middle, and then it will just clean all the material until the desired radius is achieved. I first do the holes and then I do the walls, and I use tabs. So in these areas the end mill will slow down a little bit, and it will go up, it will go down, leaving a small link of wood so the part doesn't move and doesn't fly out. Actually, at first I was hoping that I will not need those because I'm using compression end mills, which are supposed to compress the dust in the cut, and that dust should hold the part, and that works with plywood. Actually, I did it many times with 1/8 inch end mill or with 4 mm end mill, it works. But this time I was using 6 millimeters end mill, and it didn't work. So my initial program didn't have the tabs, and it didn't work, and we screwed up several parts. So I added them, and eventually it worked well. I also applied a small ramp here. As you can see, the end mill goes with the ramp, so it goes slowly, goes down slowly in a spiral form. And here's the simulation of the program. We can see how the machine will cut it before we actually cut. So once I had the program, I needed to solve another problem. And the problem is that I am a homeless digital nomad. As you may know, I've been living in an Airbnb for 1.5 years, and I've been traveling for 20 years already non-stop because I have a Russian passport. I was born in Soviet Union. I'm unfortunate to have a Russian passport, and I left Russia in 2007, and I've been on the way since then. I sometimes I settle in some countries and I build a workshop, a temporary workshop or something, but then I always have to move on and lose my tools, lose my CNC machine, and it's happening all the time. As soon as I have a good workshop that I like and where I can work effectively, I lose it because I'm a tourist always. And last year we had to leave the Philippines because in the Philippines I had a very nice workshop, but I got the permanent residency there and I tried to register my business and I couldn't. So in Philippines, foreigners are not allowed to register small business. Never. It's a ban. It's a ban that is designed to save local small businesses from Chinese invasion. So I can understand them, but I didn't know about that. I spent many years getting the resident permit just so that I can register my business, and it turns out I am not allowed. So we decided we need to move to another country, and we moved to Brazil last year, gave birth to our son here, and it was his birthday, first year birthday, just a couple of days ago. So that side works well. We already got resident permits in Brazil, and I am in the process of registering business here right now, and it looks like it's possible. So big chances that my furniture business will finally be properly registered and I can connect Stripe and other things, and I can issue invoices and do proper business, pay taxes. That will help a lot because up until now all my business all my businesses are registered on random people because I'm not eligible. So that's a big problem for me, that I always struggle to have a workshop, and right now I need to start building a new workshop. Luckily, last year I went to Expo Motorhome. That's the biggest event related to RVs and camper vans in Latin America, and it happens in Curitiba, in the city where I was at that time. So I went there, and the entrance was pretty expensive, and I didn't have job at that time. So I decided that I will make it count. I need to meet someone that will change my business or my life or something. That I need to talk to people and find opportunities, which is not a natural thing for me to do. As a developer and engineer, I'm an introvert, and it's really hard for me to communicate with people and to approach people. So, despite all of those challenges, I went there and I spoke with many people, but I couldn't find someone with a CNC machine. My goal was to find someone who uses CNC machines for camper vans or something, because that's what I'm interested in, and that's what I hope to work in someday. Maybe furniture for camper vans. That will be ideal. But right before the expo was closing, I found one stand of a company that does roof tents for overlanding vehicles. And overlanding is one of my favorite hobbies. I always have a 4x4 vehicle and I always go camping in Philippines. So I started to chat, and it turns out that this guy has a huge CNC machine, and we started to discuss different projects. And Fernando allowed me to use his machine. So that's what I eventually did. I brought the wood to Fernando's factory and we made all the cuts. But it actually took me 6 months to prepare for that day because, as I mentioned, I am living in Airbnb and I was living almost 1.5 hour drive from his factory, and my car was not suitable for those kind of long drives with a lot of wood, so I actually had to change my car so I could easily drive to his factory and back. And I also rented an Airbnb that is just 30 minutes drive from his factory. So eventually I managed to visit him, and for me it's actually a very big responsibility to operate someone's CNC machine, especially these big kind of machines. They're very expensive and sometimes they cost like a car. So I need to make sure that I don't damage it. But luckily, Fernando's controller was DDCS 3.1, which is almost the same like my latest controller, the one that I used last. I used DDCS 4.1. So not only I was familiar with all its interfaces and coding, I also had a post processor ready for it, so I didn't even need to ask Fernando any details about the machine and about the controller. I was already very familiar with it. Anyway, I'm very grateful to Fernando and Tendaro to allow me to use their machine and for the trust. And I'm happy that we didn't damage the machine. I purchased the 6 mm quarter inch compression end mills. Those were performing very well when I was working with plywood, so I was hoping they will also work well with pine, and they did their job. The machine was cutting the wood very easily. At some point, we were even cutting in one pass, but after some tests, I decided to back off and do it in just standard depth of cut, which is 6 mm for this end mill with a ramp. The machine is very powerful. It has 2.2 kilowatt spindle. It can travel up to 20 meters per minute. But we were cutting at 7.2 meters per minute. Sorry guys, you will need to translate that to inches yourself. But that's the maximum speed for this end mill, and I was using the manufacturer's recommendation. The RPMs was 14,000, so 14,000 RPM, 7,200 millimeters per minute speed. So the machine was performing fine, but unfortunately we made some human error. The first cut, when the machine went right, hit one clamp, and because it hit the clamp, it lost the home position. We forgot to home the machine, so the second cut also was not good, and we ruined the second part. And then after we figured out that, we launched the machine again, and the vacuum hose was stuck at some point and also caused the machine to skip some steps, so we ruined the third part. But after that, the cut went very well. All the cuts were good, but now unfortunately I need to go there again and cut those three parts again. So these three parts were damaged and I will have to go back again and cut them again because these parts are from different layers, and unfortunately I won't be able to build the chair without them. But that's okay because now I am familiar with the machine. I live near Fernando's factory, so it will be easy to visit him during the week and just cut these three pieces only quickly. So hopefully I will do it this week. So now I have all the parts of the chair cut and I can start assembling it. I still need to buy a sanding machine and maybe a compressor and a staple gun. I still need to buy the upholstery things, but I'm moving through this project, and I'd like to thank Fernando and Tendaro for helping me to cut this chair. And I also would like to thank all my Patreon supporters and everyone who bought my plans at my website, because these workshops, building these workshops and designing these chairs takes a lot of resources, and actually I spend all my money on the workshops and on this project without getting too much output from it yet. But I hope someday it will bring me somewhere where I could possibly run a business that is relying on CNC machines. So all of these workshops that I showed to you, and all of my work, most of it is actually paid by my Patreon supporters and the sales on my website. So please subscribe to this channel, go to my website, buy some files, and maybe join my Patreon if you like this kind of content. And the files of this chair will also be available for my Patreon supporters. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching.